Think about the last time something went wrong in your life. Could be a relationship, a business deal, a decision that didn't end the way you expected. You probably said, I didn't see it coming.
Oh, but what if you did? What if you did?
Not in some big, obvious way.
In a small moment, a pause or a hesitation.
Yes, a feeling that something was off.
And then what? And then you ignore it.
This is Trust Your Gut, Save Your Ass. I'm Professor Mike.
Hey, I'm Dr. Nick. Real neuroscience, life or death stakes, zero guesswork.
Today we're talking about the moment you are missing and why it keeps costing you your ass.
And we're going deep because this isn't just about one bad decision.
This is about a pattern you've been running your entire life.
A pattern that costs you relationships, opportunities, peace of mind.
And you didn't even know you were doing it.
Until now. So, Mikey Mike, let's start with the obvious question. If people are missing the moment, what moment are we even talking about?
We're talking about the moment before everything falls apart. Not the blow up, not the consequence, the signal that came first.
Wow, the signal. Here's the thing. Most people think they got blindsided. They think there was no warning.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you walk them back through it, they always find the same exact thing.
The same thing, right? There was a moment.
Yes, a conversation where something felt off, a decision that didn't sit right, a person who gave them a weird feeling maybe, and they noticed it.
They absolutely noticed it.
But then they told themselves, well, I'm overthinking this. It's probably just nothing. I don't want to ruin this.
No doubt. And then they move forward anyway.
So really, the question isn't whether the signal was there. The question is why they didn't trust it.
Oh my gosh. First off, they don't even know it's there. And then because trusting it would require them to do something.
Exactly. It would have required a confrontation, a boundary, a decision they did not want to make.
Self-responsibility, So instead they rationalize it away.
They override that signal.
I know. And then 6 months later, they're sitting in the wreckage going, how did I not see this coming?
But the truth is you did see it. You just didn't act on it.
Here's what makes this so insidious.
People think this is normal.
Yes, they think everyone does this.
And they think it's just part of being human, making mistakes, learning lessons.
But it's not.
It's a learned behavior.
Learned behavior. You weren't born ignoring your gut. You were taught to.
And we're going to talk about how that actually happened. But first, we need to establish something very fundamental.
Oh my God, what's that?
The signal is real.
It's absolutely real.
It's not woo-woo.
No.
It's not mystical. It's not some vague women's intuition nonsense. Nope.
No. It's actually neuroscience.
Yep. It's your nervous system doing exactly what it's designed to do.
Reading the environment, detecting threats, keeping you alive.
And when people dismiss it as just a feeling,
they're dismissing millions of years of evolutionary survival machinery.
Which is absolutely insane when you think about it.
I know, right? Completely insane. All right, we're going to do something different here. We're going to walk you through your own life.
That's fun. Not in theory, not hypothetically.
It's going to be fun.
We're talking about your life, your decisions, your moments, okay?
Yeah, this is going to be cool. So think about it right now. Think about the last time something went wrong.
A relationship that ended badly, a job that didn't work out, a friendship that completely imploded.
Woo! Something where you looked back and said, I didn't see that coming.
Got it? Good. Now rewind.
Not to the ending, not to the blow up. Go back before that.
Go back to the moment where something felt off. It didn't feel right to you.
Maybe it was a conversation. Maybe it was the way someone answered a question. Maybe it was something they said that didn't quite add up.
And you actually noticed it.
You absolutely noticed it, even if just for a split second.
There was a feeling, a hesitation, a little voice in your head that said, wait.
And then what did you do?
You told yourself you were overthinking.
Yeah, right? You told yourself, that's not a big deal.
You told yourself it didn't want to be that person, the paranoid one, the difficult one, the one who makes everything complicated.
So you ignored it.
You moved forward.
And then what happened?
Well, it unfolded exactly in the direction you felt.
Oh, not immediately, But eventually,
Yep, eventually the thing you were worried about, it actually happened.
it happened, and the person who felt off, they were.
The decision that didn't sit right, it actually was wrong.
And now you're dealing with the aftermath
Really trying to understand it at that point, trying to make sense of it.
and saying, I didn't see that coming.
Yep, but you did. You actually saw it coming.
You just didn't trust what you saw.
So here's the real question.
Mhm.
Why not? Why didn't you trust it? Why didn't you follow it?
And wait before you answer that. I want to go deeper. I want you to go deeper.
Think about that exact moment you overrode yourself. You
Oh
didn't
my
trust
gosh.
yourself.
Overriding yourself. What were you thinking?
What were you telling yourself at that point?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Most people, when they override that signal, they have a very specific script running in their head.
They say things like, I'm being paranoid.
I'm being way too sensitive.
I'm making a big deal out of nothing.
I need to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't want to be judgmental.
Everyone deserves a second chance.
And all of those things sound reasonable.
They sound like mature, evolved thinking, which is the problem.
Oh, it is the problem, isn't it? But they're
Yes.
not. They're not.
They're rationalizations.
They're your brain trying to talk you out of what your body already knows
And the reason those scripts work,
because they appeal to your values.
yep, you don't want to be paranoid. You don't want to be judgmental.
So when your brain offers those explanations, take them and you override the signal.
But here's what you need to understand. Nick, what do they need to understand?
Your gut isn't being paranoid.
It's being protective.
Nice.
Protective, yeah.
It's not being judgmental either.
It's being discerning.
Mhm. And there's a massive difference between those two things.
Well, paranoia is seeing threats that aren't there.
Right. And your gut is seeing threats that are.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. Wow.
So being judgmental is making assumptions without information.
Nice. Being discerning is reading the info you're already receiving.
Mm. And when you confuse the two, Nick,
You disable your own threat detection system.
which is exactly what happened in that moment.
It did. The moment you're thinking about right now.
You had the signal, you had the information,
But you talked yourself out of trusting it.
and then you paid the price, and it was a high one.
No doubt. Because this is not a one-time thing, is it?
No, this is a pattern, actually,
Yeah.
a real pattern.
It is. Different people, different situations, same override.
And the reason it keeps happening is because most people don't understand really what's actually going on
No.
in that. They
You're-
don't know.
no,
They just
you're
don't
right.
know.
And the only reason we do is we've been studying this for
Right.
30 years. They think it's a hunch. They think it's something fuzzy, something unreliable.
But it's not.
It's your nervous system reading the room faster than your conscious mind could possibly process.
It's actually what we call pattern recognition. It's threat detection. It's your body saying, I've seen this
Wow.
before, and it did not end well.
No doubt. But your brain steps in and says, we don't have proof yet. Hey,
We can't make a decision based on a feeling. It's
Oh.
just a feeling.
oh my God, we need more data.
And by the time you have the data,
It's too late.
you're already in it at
Already.
that point.
No kidding. And, so let's talk about what actually happens in that override moment, because this is where people lose it.
Well, your gut sends a signal. Your vagus nerve is literally transmitting the information from your body up to your brain.
Nice. Bottom up. It's
Yep.
saying something's wrong here. Pay attention.
But your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, rationalizing part of the brain, steps in and overrides it.
Yeah, right. And it says, we need evidence. We need logic. We need reason.
And in that moment, you disconnect from the actual signal.
Oh, man. And you ignore what your body is telling you.
And you move forward based on what your brain wants to believe.
Not what's true, what you want to be true.
And that's the difference.
Big difference. Your gut is reading reality. Your brain is constructing a story. Oh my God.
And when those two things conflict, Nick,
Oh,
what happens?
Most people choose the story
Yep.
every single time. Here's where it gets really interesting from a neuroscience perspective.
Because we're not just talking about two different ways of thinking.
No, we're talking about two completely different information processing systems.
Exactly. And your gut Your nervous system processes the information at a fundamentally different speed than your prefrontal
It
cortex.
sure does. It's faster.
Yep, scientifically, significantly faster.
Your gut can read micro expressions, vocal tone shifts, body language cues, all in milliseconds.
Way before your conscious mind even registers
Yeah.
what's happening.
God, the system just so rocks. It's so perfect. And it's not just reading individual signals, it's running pattern matching against your entire lived experience.
Every interaction you've ever had, every outcome you've witnessed. Okay.
All that data stored in your nervous system.
And when your gut encounters a familiar pattern, what
Fires a warning.
and that's boom. But your prefrontal cortex doesn't have access to that database at all.
It can't see that pattern.
It only sees the current moment.
Yeah. So it looks logical, provable reasons to justify the feeling.
And when it can't find them, what happens, Nick?
Man, it dismisses the signal.
Wow.
Yeah,
Actually dismisses it.
it does.
Which is why people say things like,
Yeah.
well, I can't explain it,
Mhm.
but something feels off.
Right, because they can't explain it logically.
And that's important. The information isn't accessible to explaining that part within your brain.
But that doesn't mean it's not real.
Yep. It just means it's operating at a different level of conscious mind, and the mind can't articulate that
Yeah, and this is where people get stuck.
because we live in a culture that values logic over knowingness,
I know,
embodied
right?
knowingness.
That's why we call it the ancient way of knowing.
Yep.
We're taught from childhood, use your words, explain yourself, give me a reason.
But if you can't explain it,
Oh, it doesn't count.
yep, which seems insane, which
Uh-huh.
is insane.
And completely insane because the things that keep you safe, hold on, are not the things you can explain. They're the
Mhm.
things you can feel.
Yep. And
Mm.
when you train yourself to ignore what you feel
Mhm.
in favor of what you can explain, what happens, Nick?
Oh, you make yourself totally vulnerable.
Bad people, bad situations, bad decisions. And that's the truth.
No doubt. Because you're waiting. You're waiting for proof.
And by the time you have proof, you're already trapped.
Let's talk about where this pattern comes from because you weren't born doing this.
Nope.
No. Babies and young children trust their gut completely.
If someone gives them a bad feeling, they don't go near them. Animals are the same way. They don't go near you.
Oh gosh, no. How perfect is it? They cry, they pull away, they refuse.
And what do we do when that happens?
We override them.
Of course.
Oh my gosh. Don't be rude.
Yeah.
Say hello to Aunt Susan. Give Grandpa a hug.
Yeah. What are you doing? It's okay. They're a nice person, although they may be a serial killer and the kid picked up on.
Oh, don't be shy now.
We literally train children to ignore their gut.
Oh my gosh. To prioritize social politeness over their own safety signals.
And it gets worse as they get older, especially for women.
Especially for women. Women are socialized to be nice, to be accommodating, to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Do not hurt anyone's feelings.
Even at the expense of their own comfort.
And even at the expense of their own safety.
Men get a different version of it.
Men are taught to be logical, rational, unemotional.
Yep, to not trust feelings because feelings are weak.
Right. To make decisions based on data, strategy, reason.
And it sounds great in theory, but completely disconnects them from their body's intelligence.
So you've got women who are too polite to trust their gut, and you got men who are way too logical to trust their gut.
Oh
So
my
Nick,
gosh. Both groups are getting wrecked by the same pattern.
they're ignoring the signal
And paying the price.
over and over and over again.
Here's the thing that really gets me.
What's that? What gets you?
Well, people will ignore their gut to avoid a small social discomfort.
And then endure massive actual harm as the result of
Yeah.
ignoring it.
They stay in a bad relationship for years because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings. They stay in a relationship for years because the kids are young. Let's wait till they turn 18. Let's wait till they grow up.
They'll keep a toxic employee because they don't want to have an uncomfortable conversation with
Yes.
them.
They'll ignore red flags in a business deal because they don't want to seem difficult.
And then they're shocked when it blows up in their face. Boom.
And it does. It does. But the math doesn't work.
Nope, it does not.
5 minutes of discomfort now versus 5 years of misery later.
And people, believe it or not, choose the misery
Yeah, they do. Every single time.
because they can't see it yet.
And, the future pain is hypothetical, right?
Yep.
The
The current
current, oh,
Yep, the current social discomfort is real. And in other words, they optimize for the immediate comfort,
yeah, for sure. And sacrifice the long-term outcome every time.
which brings us to something critical.
Well, what's that?
Well, people who are really good at reading others,
Predators, predators, manipulators,
yeah,
con artists.
they know the pattern.
They absolutely know it.
And they know that most people will override their gut to avoid social awkwardness.
Yeah. You know what? They actually rely on that to succeed in their endeavors. So they create social pressure.
And they make you feel rude for
Yeah.
questioning them.
Ooh.
They make you feel paranoid for not trusting them.
Yeah. They use your own socialization against you.
And it works. It works incredibly well.
Most people would rather be taken advantage of than risk being seen as rude.
Which is social context, exactly what predators count on.
Yes, indeed. So let's talk. Let's talk about what this actually costs you. Because it's not just one bad decision, it's a lifetime of overriding yourself.
It's staying in relationships way too long, and it's saying yes when you should have said no.
Yeah. It's giving people the benefit of the doubt when your gut was
Mm.
screaming not to.
And every time you do that, you teach yourself not to
Yeah.
trust
Yeah.
the signal.
Yeah, we've undone this. Everyone, our whole lives. You weaken the connection, man. And next time it happens, the signal is quieter, quieter, quieter. It's easier to ignore.
Eventually, you can't hear it at all.
No,
The
no.
volume's turned off.
Way, way off. And that's when people come to us and say, "I don't even know what I feel anymore. I can't trust myself. I don't know how to make decisions."
And the truth is, they never lost the signal.
Nope.
What happened to them? They trained themselves not to listen. But there's another cost that people don't talk about. What is that?
Well, it's the energetic cost.
Exactly.
Oh, it's huge, isn't it?
Hey, when you're in a situation that your gut knows is wrong,
Your nervous system is constantly firing stress signals.
yep, you can feel it. Your body is in a low-level state of alarm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're producing cortisol, your heart rate variability drops, your digestion shuts down, you're exhausted all the time, and you can't explain why.
So, because consciously you've convinced yourself
Mhm.
everything is just fine.
Oh, but your body knows it's not.
And that's the disconnect.
Between what your brain is telling you, what your body is experiencing, that's what creates the chronic stress,
Yep.
the anxiety that won't go away,
The insomnia.
the gut issues.
Yep. The brain fog.
All of it is your body trying to get your attention. Hello, hello.
Trying to really tell you we're not safe here.
But you keep overriding it. You keep telling yourself you're fine.
And your body keeps breaking down.
Yeah, until eventually it forces you to pay attention.
Yep. Every time.
Mhm. Through illness, through breakdown, through crisis.
And then you're forced to deal with it.
Yeah. And, in not so comfortable ways. And by then, the cost is massive.
Yep. And you've lost literally years. You've lost them.
Yes, lost years, damaged your health,
Yep.
exhausted your relationships, all because you didn't trust the signal.
Didn't trust yourself.
No.
All because you thought you needed proof.
Yeah. You needed proof. And here's what people really need to understand, Mike.
Yeah. Your
Yeah.
body is the proof. The proof. Your nervous system is giving you the data that you need. It's real. It's measurable. It's physiological data.
It's just not in a format your conscious mind recognizes.
Yep. It comes as sensations, and that's different.
Yeah, it doesn't come as thoughts or logic.
Yep. Tightness in your chest, knots in your stomach, they're signals
They
that you're
are.
missing.
Restlessness, fatigue, irritability, that's the signal. And when you learn to read it, you don't need external proof. You have internal knowing, hence the ancient way of knowing. And that changes everything.
And so the question really is, how do you get it back?
You stop overriding. You stop
Oh.
waiting for proof and stop needing a logical reason to trust what you feel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the signal doesn't show up with a PowerPoint presentation, all right?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
It
Yeah.
shows up as a feeling, a
Yeah. Yeah.
hesitation, a knowingness
Mm.
inwardly. You know it.
And the people who trust it, they don't get blindsided. They see it coming and they act. They can course correct before it's too late. And so can you.
Now we're going to get very, very practical here.
Yeah. We don't want you to leave this episode thinking, okay, cool concept, and then do nothing. No, no, no. Right. We want you to actually change the pattern.
And so here's the first step.
Notice when you're overriding yourself. Just notice.
You don't have to act on it yet.
Mhm.
You don't have to change anything yet. Just start paying
Mhm.
attention to the moment when you feel something. It's a feeling, not a thought, a feeling.
Yes. And then talk yourself out of it. Notice the script you run, such as, I'm being paranoid, I'm overthinking, I'm being too sensitive. Those are all red flags.
Those are the exact moments
Mm.
where you're about to override the signal
Yeah.
once again.
Yeah.
And once you start noticing them, what do?
You can't unsee them. You can't unsee it. You'll start catching yourself in real time.
And that's when you have a choice, a real choice. And
Mhm.
the second step is pause.
Pause when you notice the override script starting. Don't push through. No, no. Pause.
And then take a breath, a deep breath.
And it's good to ask yourself, what is my body telling me right now? Not your brain, but your body. What sensations are you experiencing? Tight.
Tightness, tension,
Say it again. Say tight.
tightness, tension, unease. Just acknowledge it. That's all,
Mm.
really.
And then ask, what would happen if I trusted this? Not is this logical? Not do I have proof? Just, what would happen if I trust this?
And then the third step, honor the signal. Begin to
Yeah.
honor that signal.
This is huge, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it makes you look paranoid or difficult or rude. Honor it.
Honor it. Set the boundary. Ask the question.
Mhm.
Walk away.
Yeah,
Whatever the signal is telling you to do it.
absolutely. And here's what you will find. Most of the time, you were right.
The thing you were worried about,
Mm.
the thing you were worried about, it was real.
The person who felt off, they were. And the few times you were wrong, well, the cost is minimal.
Someone thinks you're a little cautious. So what? Who cares? That's infinitely better than ignoring a real threat.
Absolutely. And over time, as you practice this, the signal gets stronger.
It gets clearer.
It gets clearer, more reliable, because you're rebuilding the connection. You're
Mm.
turning up the volume on that sucker.
You're really actually teaching yourself to trust yourself again.
Yeah.
Trust again.
Totally. And that's when life changes because you stop getting blindsided.
And you stop ending up in situations you have to recover from
Literally. You start making decisions from a place of knowing.
instead of a place of hoping.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the difference between people who struggle and people who thrive, people who have confidence.
So here's what we want you to do this week.
Oh, this is cool. The next time you feel that sensation, that pause, that moment where something does not sit right.
Don't rationalize it away.
No,
Don't tell yourself you're overthinking.
no.
Just notice it.
Mm.
That's it.
Write it down. Actually, it's a good thing to write it down always, because then you can track your data later. Today at 3, I felt uneasy about X. I told myself I was being paranoid. I moved forward anyway. Then watch what happens.
Because once you start tracking it, you
Mhm.
actually track it,
Yeah.
you'll see the pattern.
Oh my God, it's so exciting. You'll see how often you were right. And so you'll stop dismissing the signal. It's like building a bicep. It gets stronger over time and more reliable.
So trust your gut.
Save your ass.